Hi, I'm going to do a comparison test between GoPro7 and a GoPro10. 7, 10. And you can see the size difference. They're both in cages and they're bolted to a magic arm, which I sort of bodged up to make a rig, basically. And I'm going to zoom out in the garden and do some resolution and frame rate and yeah, all those tests. I'm not too interested in audio, but they'll just be the internal mics. It's not for audio, really. The test is for resolution and image quality. That's it. And then finally, I'm going to go around and do exactly the same thing with my Fuji XT3 with a 10-24 lens, and that pretty much replicates the field of view at 10mm on here as the GoPros when they're in wide mode. And in the process I'll provide much more information as you see the results unfold before your very eyes. But the final test will be with this camera, yes, comparing it with the GoPro10 at 5.3K. What do you reckon? 5.3K will beat the 4K Fuji? No way, no way. But we'll see. Okay, let's go. Let's kick off with both GoPros at 2.7K and 50 frames per second, my normal shooting setup, and both cams in linear/narrow modes. These tests are just for image quality. I'm not at all concerned about audio, as I always use an external mic, either a Saramonic SR-XM1 or Rode Micro, both with dead cat. Stabilisation on the 7 is either on or off, and on the 10 there are several options depending on resolution and frame rates. But the 7 stabilisation is still pretty good, especially as you'll see on wide lens settings, where GoPro cameras obviously benefit. None of the clips, by the way, from both cameras have been retouched or enhanced in any way. They're straight out of the camera as shot. Unless I messed up the settings, GoPro 7 looks sharper than the 10. I have to say that all this footage would be best watched on a 4K TV rather than a smartphone. This is a 1080 file, but you can still see the differences. Trying to upload a 4K vid the other day, it was processing days later, so don't think I'll bother anytime soon. High bit rate set on both cams too, although there's no adjustment I've seen on the 7. Anyway, it's a dull overcast day, so a good real world test to see how they handle colour in these conditions, which are, let's face it, contradictory to what you normally see on YouTube with sunny beaches and ski slopes. GoPro stop capture. Although we do get sun here in the UK at times. I deliberately tilt the rig, but I think I forgot to set the horizon leveler on the 10. Or maybe I tilted it too far. I've always used my previous GoPros, including the 7, in medium sharpness. So later I'll use the 10 in 5.3K with low sharpness, then add a touch of sharpness in post. To be honest, with sharpness turned off, I can't see much difference, and I'm viewing this on a 5K 27-inch max screen, which is quite critical. With both cams set to 4K, there's no discernible difference in 4K between the two, although I may need to go to Specsavers. Now, GoPro 7 versus GoPro 10, 4K versus 5.3K. One thing's for certain, the colour reproduction is more saturated and warmer than the 7, particularly on an overcast day. On the GoPro 7 it's just normal colour setting in ProTune, but on the GoPro 10 there's flat, natural and vibrant, so I use natural, whereas in the 7 it's just really the GoPro's colour profile, or you can have flat and then you obviously have to fix it in post. The penultimate test is with the 10 at 5.3K, 50 frames per second with sharpness set to low, but sharpened in post slightly, and around 2.5 in Final Cut. Yeah, it looks okay and reasonably sharp. Finally, the Fuji XT3 at 4K versus the 10 at 5.3K. Both set to similar wide-angle views. However, the XT3 has no built-in image stabilization, unlike the 4. Although the 10 to 24 zoom lens does have some image stabilization, and this was on. However, I knew it would be shaky and I would never normally run and film with it. But coming to resolution, there's no way such a small sensor can beat a larger APS mirrorless camera, especially full frame too. One question though, how are smartphones with their tiny sensors able to beat GoPros in the low light stakes? How is that? When the GoPro 11 comes along next year, as it inevitably will, hopefully that will be a significant update. Yeah, that would be worth upgrading the camera for, definitely. Otherwise, if you have the 7, I'd hang on to it for a bit. It's good, very good. I think this comparison test highlights just how good the 7 is, and of course the 10. Rarely do I take stills with GoPros, but here's the 7 and 10. Notice how colour balance changes when colour is set to auto. So set white balance to around 5000 Kelvin in daylight and adjust in post if needed. And the clear winner is this kiddo. Yep, no doubt about it. The Fuji wins hands down. Well, of course, I expected it to anyway. But that's not all about this camera. The whole thing is the GoPro 10 substantially better than the GoPro 7? Substantially, image quality wise, no, except of course if you're shooting in 5.3K, then yes. The GoPro 7 holds up very well against the GoPro 10. But I've been having a few issues with the GoPro 7 over the last year or so, constantly freezing, but to be honest, in these tests over the last couple of days, no freezing issues whatsoever. So what's causing it, I'll never know. I had it serviced, came back, fine for a while, froze again. And I hate freezing! Anyway, my little rig worked well, but my next video will be on the GoPro 10 vlogging cage. Ulanzi, of course, brilliant. They make some great products, Ulanzi, don't they? So I'll be giving a good review of this because it's perfect for the GoPro 10 and it makes it a very versatile vlogging system, vlogging camera, yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching, please subscribe and I'll see you soon. Cheers!